Now, the autumn statement made much of the government's crackdown on tax avoidance. 24 hours later, the multinational coffee chain Starbucks offered to pay around £20 million corporation tax in Britain for the next 2 years. It's been facing a tax and a consumer boycott after it was revealed that it had, quite legally, paid no corporation tax here in the last 3 years. Well, our business correspondent, Siobhan Kennedy, is here. How have they managed that?
Well, Starbucks is being singled out, Krish, as one of the multinational bad guys, if you like, by MPs and the public for not paying its fair share of tax here in the UK. Let's just quickly remind ourselves of how they got themselves into this trouble and look at some of the numbers here. Last year, Starbucks had sales of nearly £400 million, as you can see there, and yet it claimed to make losses of nearly £33 million. So as a result, of course, it paid no corporation tax. And in fact, it paid no corporation tax in 14 of the last 15 years that it operated in this country. Now, MPs suspect the reason for this is that they shift big chunks of their profits from the UK, where they make it, outside to other jurisdictions where they pay less tax.
And so what are they going to do differently in their accounting?
What they've said today is that they are going to address this problem, they're acknowledging it, and they are going to pay £10 million worth of tax in 2013 and £10 million worth of tax in 2014. And thereafter, if they still continue to make no profits, therefore eligible for no tax, they will still continue to make these payments as a way of appeasing this criticism. Now, the UK MD of Starbucks is very sensitive around this issue, which many people have said the things that they are doing are legal, yes, tax-wise, but immoral. Here's what he had to say today.
Again, I'm not in a position to say what's moral or immoral. I'm only in a position to tell you that what we as a company can do when we're responding to our customers, we're responding to the employees who work for our company, and we're doing the right thing. And as I said before, when we act responsibly, and we have a long history of doing this in all kinds of situations, we see that show up on the bottom line, and that's what's important.
But if they're just not going to make deductions, this is just a voluntary gift to the Exchequer. I mean, if I overpay my tax, I get a refund. If I underpay, I get a bill. I mean, this is...
Quite. It's the most strange thing. It's unprecedented. They have not been forced to make this announcement today. It is completely voluntary. We don't really understand how they've come up with the 10 million. There's no real proper explanation. They didn't agree at first with HMRC, the taxman, and in fact there's some evidence tonight, Krish, that this could be beginning, in fact, to backfire on them for having really reinforced what people are thinking about big business, that they just go ahead and make these decisions for themselves without really any consultation. Tonight, HMRC have said corporation tax is not a voluntary tax, and Parliament sets out the rules. In other words, it's not up to Starbucks to do so.
Siobhan Kennedy. John.
And no one from government was available to talk about this. But just before we came on air, I spoke to Labour's Shadow Business Secretary, Chuka Umunna. And I put it to him that Starbucks' decision was good news.
Well, look, I mean, I met with Starbucks this week, and they really do need to rebuild trust, not just with their customers, but also with the public at large. So as a first step to doing that, the announcement today is absolutely welcome. Now, the interesting thing will be to see whether the other companies that have been named in the parliamentary investigation by the Public Accounts Committee, whether they follow suit. I hope that they do follow the lead that Starbucks have given today.
But would you want them to follow suit precisely? Because should corporations be telling Her Majesty's Revenue how much they're going to pay in tax? Surely it's for the Revenue to tell them how much they should be paying.
Well, look, absolutely. We've got to get a grip on this, and we've got to get a grip on it, not just from the point of view of the companies involved, but actually the business community in general. It's really important to state this fact, John. I mean, the overwhelming majority of businesses in this country make a huge contribution to the Exchequer. Most of them are small and medium-sized businesses, contributing over 160 billion. But the important thing is that where there are loopholes, that HMRC has the resource to clamp down on them. And part of the problem has been that the government has cut. There's been job losses in HMRC of about 10,000. And although in the autumn statement yesterday they gave HMRC an extra £77 million, that's nothing compared to the 15% funding cut that HMRC has faced.
Yeah, but I mean, when you were in power, you know, they had a full complement of inspectors, and still they didn't, as you put it, get a grip on it. In fact, your government completely lost its grip on it. It was under your government that these awful deals with people like Vodafone were struck.
Well, I simply don't accept the picture that you paint of the action that the Labour government took. First of all, the April 2009 G20, Gordon Brown brought the different countries around the world together to take strong action and put pressure on the tax haven jurisdictions to actually disclose information that they hold. And
yeah,
secondly,
but that doesn't escape the fact that if we just concentrate on Starbucks and people like Vodafone, it was under your watch that they got away with the minimal amount of tax that they paid.
But look, John, and I'm not saying we got everything right, but I think it's wrong to say that we didn't take action. And in fact, last month, the National Audit Office praised the disclosure measures that we did introduce, which have seen at least an extra £10 billion being collected by the Exchequer, which is no mean feat.